Today is Friday, June 27th, and yet again, you have me, Riley Davis, alongside Dion Hill Ford. We are tapping in, checking in, serving our sleepers nation out there by filling in for Greg and Carter while they are gone. Dion, we just got done recording a ton of NBA draft content the past 2 days. We're breaking down film of second round guys, trying to decipher which guys were even worth doing a video on. You heard me gas up several random international players. How is your mood right now? Are we still flying high? Are we ready to be done? Are you need a little coffee boost? Like where are we at? What are the vibe checks?
I'm never ready to be done. I love this channel. My mood is I'm a little jealous of the listeners. Like I say this all the time. Like I was a fan of G and Cart like before. Like I really like met them. Like I've been a fan of the channel like since the early days. Um, I'm so happy for them. I FaceTimed G a little bit this morning from his hotel. Got to talk to him about how last night went. I'm a little jealous of the viewers that they get to watch it, that they got to watch it, and like we didn't. And I'm gonna go back and watch it, but it's not gonna hit the same listening to them talk about the picks like from 2 days prior, right? But like I wish I got to experience that live with them. You know what I mean? And get to like experience that moment a little bit with them through like the viewership aspect. Vibes are incredibly high. I live for this. I love doing this. I love being on the channel. I'm very appreciative of G and Cart for having me on here. I'm very appreciative for like, everybody, the people, my dog Drecky who hates me, and then obviously the people that enjoy me being on the channel as well. I'm appreciative for all of it. I would do it any day of the week at any time if they asked me. And you know this, the other day you asked like I was like, yo, I could be up at 4 a.m. if that's what it takes for us to record
True.
this stuff. So there's really there's no boundaries for me with this. I love it.
I'm glad you did not have to wake up at 4 a.m. I'm feeling similar, man. There's something about firing up the Zoom for the full episode where it's like a tall glass of Red Bull just flowing through the veins. You're a Red Bull guy, aren't you?
Sugar free.
Okay, sugar-free Red Bull. I went through an energy drink phase as most do in middle school. Always gravitated toward Full Throttle or Rockstar energy drink, but Red Bull has clearly had the staying power of there, and that's what I feel like is just giving me life right now as we're continuing back to back late nights on this channel and getting this content out to you. But yeah, should we go ahead and get into it with a YouTube comment of the day?
I got you. My dog Leek, aka Malik Perry 7359. Malik, can I call you Leek, by the way? I'm thinking that's kind of fire. But my dog Leek said, good episode, gentlemen. If Craig Riley, Carter, and Dion was to line dance, who would be the best?
So we're talking like hold on, a line dance. Are we talking like electric
Okay, so
slide,
Riley
shot
wouldn't
shot
be. Let's
slide?
get
A
now let's
line,
get one thing clear. You wouldn't be. If you have to ask that question, you wouldn't be the best.
I don't think I would be the best either, but I need a little clarity as to like what song we're dancing to. Because if it's a Cupid Shuffle, I'm special when it comes to that one.
Well, line dancing is like country.
I think that's more square dancing. I think of line dancing as like you're at a wedding and the DJ turns on the wobble and you're kind of like, man, do I really need to listen to the wobble again? But as soon as that,
Well,
as
then I wouldn't be the best. And if I had to ask that question, then I wouldn't be the best. Riley's back at the top of my big board for line dancing.
Uh,
I honestly think it would be you.
wow, I take that as a high compliment. I would actually go with Carter because he is the only one who has gone on record bragging about his rhythm and his coordination. I guess his choreography was what yeah, this goes back to a year ago. One of the underrated, hilarious things I think Carter said that probably no one else remembers other than me was just him saying he could excel at the floor routine in the Olympics because he has rhythm. So
I also think I'd be special in the floor routine. So, like, I have 5 Olympic events that I think I could compete in. When's the next one?
summer would be 2028, winter is 2026.
28. I think I could compete in right away. It'll take me like a month or two to get in shape. But once I'm in shape, like, I don't think the Olympics are that tough.
Let me love that take, love that energy from you, but what are the five events?
Beach volleyball, special, special. I played it twice, put on a show both times. Absolutely remarkable talent on that. I can't swim, but the 50-meter dash doesn't feel difficult. You just go that way, and that's all it is. Speed walking, I'm special. Walking around, I get about 25,000 steps a day.
Wait,
Um,
for real? You're at 25,000 a day?
yeah, I mean, I work.
I mean, 25,000 is a lot. I probably average I'm somewhere in between 10 to like 16,000 a day. I always try to at least get to 10, but
I do always have my phone on me too, and that's how it calculates it. It's probably not incredibly accurate, you know what I mean? But like that's what it says, at least.
Mhm.
Um,
We got the speed walking. That's 3 events.
Floor routine's not up there, but what's the one where they're like on the beam? What? You tell me all I gotta do is balance? What? I mean special on the beam, and then pull, not the not the high jump. What's the one where you stick the pole in the ground and then you jump over something?
Pole vaulting.
Pole vaulting. You're not actually doing anything. The pole does all the work, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, he was at 17 feet in the air." The pole was 18 feet. Of course, he was 17 feet in the air.
What about throwing the javelin? That's one of those random ones that's like, okay, if like 10-year-old me picks up a javelin and says, this is going to be my life, can I excel at this and become Olympian? I kind of believe in my work ethic. You know, Dion, you get a lot of hate from G on that one topic you did with Carter about what drink you order at the turn on a golf course. There was a time in like the first summer I was doing this in 2023 where I made a whole topic about what Olympic sport do you think you would excel at? And the thumbnail was Carter's head photoshopped onto a bobsledder.
I would be winter bobsledding. Are you kidding me?
I think
Like,
we'd be good at bobsledding. I
you sit
honestly
there.
think sleepers as a whole could form a really good bobsledding team.
All we do is sit there. That's it.
Okay, I did do a deep dive on this, and most bobsledders are former college football players or college hockey players or power lifters, but same time, I still believe. I still believe in us.
Zero fear. I could do all three if I wanted to.
Shall I move on to the Discord comments?
Yeah, you want me to do it or you got it?
Now you got it today.
I feel like I got to do it. A lot of hate on the kid for skipping comments. First off, Cart does it every episode. No one cares. So like that's crazy. Nah, honestly, people do care, and that's on me. I'm normally the one telling Cart like, "Yo, you skipped this comment from my dog Leak. Can you read it?" I do want to preface to people: if you guys said Happy Bluffs Friday, I just saved it for actually on Riley Friday. This is my first Riley Friday with Riley, by the way. I'm normally the sub-in, like when Theo was born. That was like my first time on the channel. So I'm normally here when like Riley's not here. So this is one of my actually that's not true because when Cart was on paternity leave, I did every Friday with you. So that was a lie. That was just point blank lie.
I
But anyway,
forgot
I
about
saved
that.
the
I
comment.
forgot we did do a lot of like the trios of me, you, and Greg. Those are fun times.
Yeah, I forgot about those two. It's been a crazy year for us on the channel. Um, my dog Leak first comment. Happy Riley Fridays, best sleepers day of the week. NCAF is back. Do you think college football 26 is back. Do you think it should add build a dynasty, completely create a college or university? I mean, total building from campus to budgets, etc.
I think
Big
that'd be
video game guy,
cool.
Riley.
I loved NCAA 14. Like I had numerous dynasties that like reached I played like over 10 seasons with them. I was big into that throughout high school and into college. I just don't really play video games anymore. It's not that I have anything against it. I just don't have I don't have an updated console. I still have my 360. You're not gonna see me like playing games on that.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's a fair take. I like what Malik's saying. My question for Malik, is that not already in the game?
Yeah, that's
Like,
what
I
I
think
guess
there's a
maybe
way you
he's
can already do that.
Oh, I think what he's suggesting is like actually creating a university, like Sleepers U, where we build a campus, budget, etc.
I think you can do that. I'm pretty sure G had a dynasty where he was playing as like Sleepers University.
Huh, that's cool.
I think you can. Don't quote me on that leak. Like I don't want you to go buy the game and you can't do it, but I do think you can already do that. League again, with you guys running the show, is it surprising how much time everything takes to do or it's a learning process? Um, I mean, I don't want to like say like I've already done it because G does a lot of the coordinating, but I mean I've been on the channel like filling in full time for Cart before, so it's not a huge difference for me.
Yeah, there's something. I mean, this week I've been the one. I know this might sound kind of silly, but I've been the one who's like hosting the Zooms and sending them over to JK. last night when Dion and I broke down all 30 first round picks, there were times where we were like, oh man, we're going too long. Like we got to catch up. And I think the average length was 5 to 7 minutes. Checked in with Greg. He said ideal time for videos. Glad we meet the standards of corporate. Very happy about that. But it took us, I mean, we were recording for 5-ish, 6-ish hours last night doing all of it. And somewhere along the way, the math wasn't mathing. And that's where I'm just like, man, it really takes a long time to export it all, send it over to JK, coordinate with him, make sure everything's okay. So yeah, that's probably the part where I've been like, this is a little more labor intensive than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I would for me. When G was on paternity leave and Cart and I were doing all the March Madness previews and recaps while also doing the shorts and the full episode, it just gave me the similar vibe to that, like where it's like, a lot of late nights, early mornings.
Right.
Um, and it wasn't it had a different feel to it because like in March Madness, there's obviously a little bit more like excitement, I would say, than like the NBA draft, but it
For
was a
sure.
similar feeling to that for me. Leak again. I re You know what? Yeah, actually, I'm gonna read it. I've recently been watching women's flag football and wrestling. Both are very entertaining. Should colleges have summer leagues for sports like beach volleyball, flag football, or skateboarding? I think flag football would be a great ad, actually.
I'm like, if the UNC skateboarding team had a summer showcase on the ACC network on a random July day, I'm probably tuning in. So yeah.
I think the flag football will be really entertaining. If you are actually interested in stuff like that, Malik, they on I think it's like Fox Sports 2, they have a flag football like 7-on-7 league that's crazy entertaining. Leak again. Riley, how's Theo doing with his swim lessons? Is he getting it?
Swim lessons ended a couple weeks ago. We are at the beach this week, and he's been loving being in the water. He's actually, there are times where he's a little more risk adverse. Like sometimes on a playground, it takes him a little while to warm up before he wants to go on the slide by himself. When it comes to the ocean, he's just like, I'm ready to run into it. It's a little bit scary, but we're figuring it out.
One last league comment from this Flurry. I believe we have one more Flurry too, which I'm happy about. I'm a big Flurry fan. Do we have any plans for the weekend?
So I'm coming home from the beach on Saturday. Nothing too crazy. By the time people are listening to it, probably just hanging out with my family on the beach.
I've been working 4 10s lately. Honestly, it winds up being closer to like 11 or 12. That's just the way things go in the workplace sometimes. But I have 3 day weekends at the moment. I'm probably gonna golf tomorrow morning because I know my body is gonna wake up super early anyway. And then hopefully Saturday I gotta clean the crib up a little bit. And then Sunday probably just relax and get ready to go back to work on Monday. Maybe do a little meal prepping. Um, Lee, congratulations to Purdue Fox on the wedding. Love seeing our members happy moments, show them some love. That's dope. Congratulations to Purdue Fox on that, my Boilermakers.
Congrats, Purdue Fox. Happy for you. Sorry, that didn't
Um,
sound genuine. I'm just trying to figure out.
yeah, nah, that was crazy.
Hey, Purdue Fox, I'm very happy for you. Just remember, invest in your marriage well. That lasts way longer than the wedding day, but I hope it was a lot of fun. You had good memories made with both friends and family. That's on me.
Definitely.
I gotta tap the chest. I was catching up on where we were with comments, see if I need to get ahead on planning anything. I want to offer a sincere congratulations to Purdue Fox.
That was crazy. Shout out Steve Nash. We got Steve Nash. A few bold sleeve dictions for the NBA draft night. Will Riley and Casparis both go top 20. I'm gonna give you credit for that one. That one was close enough. I think you're one pick away from that one. Edgecombe goes number 3. I don't know if that was the craziest of predictions, to be fair, but 2 for 2 in my book. Jace Richardson's name isn't called until tomorrow. That's a bold prediction. Got really close though. I got really close. I think if Jace falls 2 more picks, I think he's correct. I don't think Jace goes 28 through 30. Um, the Bulls pull off a blockbuster. They trade the number 12 pick and walk away with something like Jaylen Brown. Respectfully, I don't think the Bulls are smart enough to pull that off. And then, and the big one, Giannis gets traded to the Spurs. That would have been dope. I have him 2 for 5, and with one being very close. What do you think?
Yeah, 2 for 5. I think combined, yeah, between the Will Riley and Jace, you get credit for one out of those two.
Yeah. I'm Maynard. Happy Riley Fridays. UNC Twitter hating on Duke's draft classes because they have nothing in house to discuss on draft day is peak.
One, there are a lot of bozos on UNC Twitter. There's nothing I can do about it. Two, objectively hilarious that Duke had all this talent and didn't win the national championship, and they were dominant for most of the year. That helps me sleep at night. Three, and the words of Dion, two things can be true. It's also embarrassing for UNC right now that the one thing we have to look forward to, or really the one thing we had to celebrate from this past season, was Duke not winning the national championship because we didn't have any success. I do give you some credit there, I Maynor, but it's about to change. We got even year Hubert is coming up. The man has lost some weight. Skinny Hubert's a different animal. Caleb Wilson's here to save us. We got my guy Big Boga, Luka Bogovac from Montenegro. We're gonna be good.
Sure. War Chance, what are your thoughts on the Bulls pick? Conflicted. Understand the potential, but I personally rather they had drafted Queen instead.
It's fine. I mean, I'm not a massive Noah Essengay believer. I see some of the tools with the defense, the athleticism, and a little bit of the handle. I just think he's got a ways to go, and that it's kind of felt like every wing that the Bulls have selected over the past 5 years.
Yeah, I think when you're picking in that 12 through like 15 range, you're swinging for the fences, hoping for the best. I think the Bulls accomplished that. You can say the Pelicans did too. I can understand you wanting Derek Queen instead of him, but I don't think if you're picking 12 through 15, like you're leaving absolutely in love with whoever you drafted. I think anybody in that range is going to have some weaknesses that you are glaring. War Chain again. Thought KJ really pulled off the brown suit tonight. So hard to pull off. Brown suit even made it to a top snout sports card. I can totally see him in the Heat uniform like it was made for him, but can't wear 32 anymore. I'm guessing. I'm going to guess that KJ wears 24 because he plays like someone who wears 24. I like the fits for KJ and Riley. What do you think?
Honestly, I need to Google what Casper's draft fit was. You remember it?
I haven't seen the fit. I think it's I thought the hard to pull off brown was hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
It
Brown.
is hard to pull off brown. Yeah.
I got a funny story about this. My brother-in-law does not listen to this podcast, but one of his friends does. So shout out to him if he's tuned into this one. When my brother-in-law married my sister, I was a groomsman, and we had to order these brown suits that I was like, are we about to look like Dwight Schrute up there? But then they were listed as brown. They were really like a charcoal suit that looked pretty good. But yeah, brown suit to me is rarely ever a good look. I don't know if I would say that Casper has pulled it off as much as I love Casper's. He should have probably gone with something different.
I like the idea of Casper's in the Miami Vice jerseys. I think 24 would be dope. I feel like 24 is going to get retired league wide though, so I wonder if that plays into his decision whether to wear it or not. Love the fit for Casperis. Don't love the fit for Riley. I also don't know that I would ever love a fit for a Wizards player, to be completely honest. So I don't know if that's necessarily Will Riley's fault.
Wait, are we talking about his fit on the court or the fit that he wore?
I thought they meant maybe he meant the fit he wore. I thought he
Draft day
meant the
fit.
fit on the court.
His draft day fit was fine. There weren't too many like flashy draft day fits this year, other than I mean Ace Bailey, I guess, and who was it who had the bunched up socks that Carter said he liked? Was that Trey Johnson with the like baggy shorts with the suit?
Yeah. Or
It was
Jeremiah, one
Trey
of the two. It was
Johnson.
Trey or Jeremiah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was Trey. I think it was
I
Trey.
think you're right.
Um, my dog fam. Happy Blessed Friday. Y'all know how we rock. Dion, it's a huge day for you. Can't lie. To start, I need your best impressions of Carton G. I'm not an impressions guy. I'm gonna pass that off to Riley. The only thing I want to say, I love Cart. That's one of my best friends on the planet. I sent him a text this morning like, "Yo," it was in a group chat. It said, "Find you somebody that holds on to you the way Cart holds on to that pillow from the live stream." It looked like they took the pillow away from my dog, and that's an absolute travesty. That's an absolute travesty.
Dog, I was comfy. You're
That was
telling me you don't
actually
want to be comfy while you're on the couch for 4 hours? Come on. Cart, sometimes you just got to be a little more professional. You can't.
no. I
Wasn't my
actually
best Greg, but the Carter one I thought was pretty good. I need to usually I can do the Greg one a little bit more, but maybe I need to be in character a little bit.
that was not far off what his text response to me was, by the way. Secondly, I need a meal recommendation. It's a rite of passage on the Friday show. Just one meal dealer's choice will be in Chicago.
Dion, I think this is yours.
Ooh, okay. So Chicago, fam is moving out of Chicago to Arizona, I believe, in late September. Um, I think you gotta do something traditional. I think a deep dish pizza. I'm a big deep dish pizza guy, by the way. I prefer a New York slice, but I think people that think you only have to like one of the two is crazy. Like
Yeah,
that's crazy. Like give me either.
I'm with you on that.
War Chant, what were your draft winners and losers? We did that for round one on yesterday's full episode. We will have round two on right after this, to be honest with you. Um, War Chant again, Greg and Polish were very professional. Greg and Carter, excuse me, were very professional and polished tonight. Wasn't as fun as their own draft show, but certainly better than listening to the ESPN guys. 5 stars, well done. I couldn't agree more. I haven't seen like all of it yet, so I don't want to comment on if it was better or not. But like one thing I will say is like it was a massive moment for them, regardless of what happened, and I thought they answered the bell incredibly.
I agree. I was watching the second round show tonight. It honestly strikes me. I get used to it because we do videos with them every day, just how good they are behind a mic compared to this isn't meant to be a slight, but compared to like Wasserman and Jake Fisher, who were not as smooth with their deliveries, and you're listening to Greg and Cart just flawlessly communicate their thoughts without any ums or uhs or stutters or anything like that. And yeah, it's really hard to do.
Yeah, from what I saw, I thought they were phenomenal. Just snappy. Loved the first day of the draft show. It was super cool to see you guys in a more professional setting and hearing your input on the picks. You know what? Should we save some of these for them to read on Monday?
Yeah, that sounds good to
I,
me
I think we should. I think it'll be really dope for everybody.
for sure.
Um, Sleeve Nash, crazy stat. John Calipari did not produce a first round pick in the NBA draft for the first time since 2007. That's
Jeez,
crazy.
what a streak, man. Honestly, I got to give Cal respect for that. That's an insanely tough streak to go 18 years of running, man.
Man, that's insane. All hail the Pope. What do y'all think the Kentucky starting five will be? And after you name starting five, what bench player will produce the most?
Okay, my starting five would be Lowe, Aberdeen, Owe, Yelovich, and I'm buying. I need the JQ propaganda is alive and well with me. I don't care about injuries. Injuries are mental. He'll be out there. And the bench player who produces the most, Colin Chandler.
I'm gonna go low Aberdeen, Ortega, JQ at the four, Moreno at the five. I think Moreno makes his way into the starting five. Bench player that produces the most, Mo Diabate. And I actually think Mo Diabate plays more than Moreno, by the way. I think that's one of those like quick sub guys, like where it's just like it makes more sense for him to come off the bench type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yep. Yep. I like that.
What because Cal didn't produce a first round pick, does it solidify Kentucky the right move on moving on from him? He clearly has lost his touch. That's from All Hail the Pope again. Uh I think you can everybody won. Everybody won. That would be like BYU fans saying, "Were we right by letting Mark Pope go to Kentucky because Diego got drafted eight and we have AJ DeBanza?"
Right.
Everybody won within all three hires.
Yep. No, I would rather have Mark Pope right now over Calipari, but yeah, I don't. It's not something that I'm gonna argue like super vigorously.
I agree. By the way, I'd rather have Mark Pope than Kevin Young and Calipari, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think any of the three schools are upset with who they have. I think everybody won that. Ooh, this one, Riley, which or all the Pope again, Riley, which do you like more, cards up or the grinning cat emoji?
Hmm. Let me get a visual here. I'm almost certainly gonna go with the grinning cat emoji. I'm glad we established that a couple weeks ago, is that that smirk emoji is just elite and it's underused. Yeah, I think that's better than cards up. I don't know if my guy Pat Signal's gonna come after me for that, but guess we'll find out.
Hells down. That's my favorite personally. War chant. With all different combinations of great minds doing the daily episodes, I believe using a comments ended bookmark would help you guys in so many ways and make it easier for you all. I thought it was working when you did it, since it's probably hard to do while podcasting. Put it in right before you begin the podcast. Just trying to make your product better. Cheers. Also, might have set a record on how many comments were missed. Carter no longer holds the record. Besides that, you guys were fire. War chant again, like I'm just gonna be honest, I was saving the Bluffs Friday ones for today. I get it. Y'all were upset. I didn't mean to upset anybody. I was just trying to save the comments that were specifically for Blessed Friday for Blessed Friday, and I missed a lot. I'm sorry. Um, I also, by the way, I have no idea where card ended. So there's a world we missed like 30 comments, and
For
I just
real.
started on the ones that said Riley and Deion. Like this is our show. So like the other ones, it is what it is. Um, Derek, try this again since that boy D Hill skipped right over it. My bad, Derek. I'm sorry. You are both ADs at Power Five schools. You fired the basketball coach for lack of success and have to hire a new basketball coach. With your new hire, are you going with mid major head coach, high major assistant, or NBA assistant? Why?
Ooh.
Riley, UNC just fired Hubert Davis. That's basically what this comment is. What do you do?
Well, if my choices are a mid-major head coach, high-major assistant, or NBA assistant, and I can't go poach like a high-major coach, I'm probably hitting up Kamani Young and trying to get him to leave Dan Hurley, if it's UNC specifically. For if it's another school in a vacuum, I actually probably would still lean on trying to hire Kamani Young, but I'm trying to think if there are any mid-major coaches who I'm especially high on that I think could be gotten right now. I don't know. I had to think about it. You got any?
I would pull an NBA assistant, and I don't personally. I don't think it's like too close. I think they're more ready from an X's and O's standpoint. I think they're more ready to deal with the financial aspect of it. I think college basketball is basically free agency, and Kevin Young is the perfect example of this. And I'm also okay with the notion of you pull an NBA assistant and there is an expiration date on it. Um, you if it's the best possible candidate, it is what it is for me. Or I would just steal somebody's head coach, like Tommy Lloyd.
Yeah, there you go.
um, All hail the Pope. The Switzerland women's soccer team ranked 23rd worldwide, just lost to Luzern's U15 boys team. Can you explain this in basketball terms? I cannot.
Would this be like the Montverde U16 team beating like the 23rd best women's national team?
So who would be that though?
I don't know. Like, are the Swiss women nice at hoop as well?
I'm down for that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
okay
Let's
with
go with that. Let's
I'm
double
okay.
dip on Switzerland and say the Switzerland women's basketball team loses to Montverde's U16 team.
I like that. Um, Okay, last comment. I'm gonna sit like I told everybody, I'm not skipping over your comments. I'm saving the Greg and Carter ones for Greg and Carter. If they don't get read, I'm sorry. But War Chant, I think the NBA and NCAA should get together to preserve the eligibility and amateurism of guys who don't get picked in the draft. You can get drafted in baseball and still go back to college, not understanding why if you don't get drafted, period, that you can't go back to school in hoops if you still have eligibility left.
It would probably lead to coaches continuing to complain that it's a year-round sport now and I gotta always be on the clock. But yeah, I think it's a good idea.
I think the timing of it is. I like the idea. Yesterday I kept saying, well, if Yaxel could declare for the draft and play in Michigan, he would be picked top 15 or something like that. So
Right.
like, I don't want to say I dislike the idea. I think the timing of it makes it incredibly hard for college basketball though, because you wouldn't fill your roster out until after the draft, right? Because like, if we're Coleman Hawkins obviously out of eligibility, but he wasn't picked. You'd rather have Coleman Hawkins than a lot of guys that are playing college basketball this year, right? So like I think the guys that declare for the draft and don't get picked are still better than some of the guys that are left in college basketball.
Yeah.
Um, Riley, anything to say to the commenters that hate that I didn't read their comments yesterday? Like we were a little bit in a rush.
Yeah, we were recording trying to catch up to the NBA draft, crank out those videos as well. It's a grind around here. Tap the chest accountability, pro accountability podcast. Sometimes mistakes happen, but you learn from it, you grow from it. In the words of Ace Bailey, I can control what I can control. With that being said, do you want to give a shout out to NBA 2K Labs, our sponsor?
Riley gets to control and he can control. I was the one doing comments. So that was the That was a very Ace Bailey comment. Yeah, but shout out 2K Labs, our faithful sponsor. We're pro 2K Labs. There's a lot of different things you can do on there. Like I said, College Football 26 is coming out. They have a lot of great College Football 26 content coming your way. I believe College Football 26 actually comes out, is it 2 weeks from today, maybe? When this
Always
drops?
mid-July, yeah.
Yeah, and I think if you have early access, you get it even earlier than that. I said this on yesterday's pod. I'm going to continue to say it. Y'all need to use the jump shot creator, man. Like seriously, seriously. I'm about to. We are going to log off of this. I'm going to get on 2K. If y'all are missing, I'm sending y'all 2klabs.com. Use the jump shot creator. This is a phenomenal website. Lots of fun mini games. Lots of fun 2K content. Even some college football 26 content. I'm a huge fan of the website. I'm a huge fan of Riley. I'm a huge fan of Riley Davis. I'm a huge fan of Sleepers Media. Let's get to the show, Riley. Wait, it's Riley Friday. Do you have anything for us?
I do have a word from the Lord. Let me see. I should have prepped it there a little bit more, but I'm not going to pass up a chance to. I'm going to read one of my favorite verses. It's in 2 Corinthians 5, verses 20 through 21. It says, "We are therefore Christ's ambassadors, as though God were making his appeal through us. We implore you on Christ's behalf, be reconciled to God. God made him who had no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God." In this passage, the Apostle Paul is drawing an illustration of how Christ reconciling us to God through his death and resurrection sets the framework for how we are to conduct our lives. Of course, Christian theological belief would teach that is the what seals our eternity, spending eternity with God the Father, with God the Son. I know not everybody believes that. That's okay. I'm not here to push that on people, but I do think the lesson of that stemming from how we live out in a world that so often shies away from reconciliation, either sweeps conflict under the rug or avoids it or just turns it into a shouting match. It's a reminder to step into the tension, to step into the heated conversations sometimes that need to happen in love and compassion, seeking righteousness and justice in all. So, sleepers, you have been awakened.
Amen. Amen.
Dion, first topic. We have NBA draft round two winners. Kick us off.
Do you want to like go back and forth, kind of like snake style? We each choose like three winners.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go with that. I like that.
Okay, I like that. I like that. I think simple winner for me. It's Phoenix with Kobe Bryant. I think that's a dude that like is going to play a long NBA career, and I don't think that could be said about everybody that's picked in. Honestly, it really can't be said about too many of them that were picked in the second round. So I think Phoenix with Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, that was going to be my first choice. Both Brea and Rasheer Fleming were two guys. I thought Fleming was a first round talent who can come in and play immediately with his defense, with the athleticism, the rebounding, all of that, and at least the potential to be a shooter. I said this on our Kobe Brea reaction video, but in the second round, if you can get a guy who is elite, elite, elite at one skill that's going to translate, you take him every time, and he is that as a shooter. For me, oh man. Okay, I am
I
going to.
assumed you were just going to take Fleming.
Well, Fleming's also on the Suns.
Oh,
So the Suns are, yeah, the Suns are the Suns are super winners for me for getting both Fleming and Brea.
that's my. If you want to take the Suns for taking Fleming, I'm okay with that because my intention was only to take them based upon
For
Brea.
Brea, no, that's fine. I'm gonna say Washington again, and I like the young core that they have in place with Bilal Coulibaly, with Bub Carrington, and I think in both rounds they're just loading up on wings who are have versatile skill sets. I mean, you look in the first. I mean, I guess Trey Johnson's more of a combo guard, fringe wing, whatever you want to call him, a hooper, a proper hooper, regardless. They landed him. Who else? Did they get someone else yesterday besides Trey Johnson that I'm forgetting about? Will
Yeah, they
Riley.
got Will
Duh.
Riley.
Yeah, like two of my favorite players in the draft, Will Riley and Trey Johnson. Then today they got Jameer Watkins, who I wouldn't have hated taking him like super late first round. I know I'm in the minority on that. I think Jameer Watkins is awesome and is going to thrive with actual talent around him and not Dre Davis. I don't even know Deion. I can't even remember Florida State's point guard name, and I'm an ACC guy. DeAndre Davis, something Davis, but like actual basketball talent. And yeah, I just think loading up on the versatile wings when every NBA team, you can never have enough of them. You look at the Thunder and the Pacers, the two teams that just played in the finals. To load up at that position, I always think is wise.
No, I like that. I, I'm not surprised. You're a big Jameer Watkins guy.
Very much so, yes.
My next winner is Cleveland. I think it's no brainer getting Tyrese Proctor. I think he was picked 50 or 49, excuse me. I think there's going to be a lot of picks before him that are going to be regretted just based upon how good he is.
Hmm. I think that's a good pick as well. I'm gonna for my next one, I'll take Chaz Lanier with the Pistons being the winner here. If you look at like I was looking through the Pistons Reddit as we were just preparing various draft content, and someone called him, I think it was Tim Hardaway Jr., but not a traffic cone on defense. I'm also not entirely convinced that Lanier isn't a traffic cone on defense, but I do think the offensive upside is higher than Hardaway Jr. I think there's some sort of role for him to carve out early based on his combination of shot making, how efficient he was this past year. He made 123 threes in a Rick Barnes offense. That means something to me. And yeah, when you're that good of a shooter who just kind of emerged out of nowhere 2 years ago and solidified that it wasn't a fluke by doing it for a team that was a two seed that made the Elite Eight, I think you got a really good chance to carve out a role in the NBA.
Um, my last winner is the Boston Celtics. They turned 30, was it 31 that they traded away? It
I think
was,
it
right?
is. Uh-huh.
No, excuse me, 32. They traded 32 away and they got 4 second-round picks, one of them being Amari Williams, who, much like Tyrese Proctor, I think is going to make a lot of people regret taking him so late. Very much so an NBA skill set. I think he's ready to play right away. He can pass, he can jump out the building. Um, and just overall, turning 32 into 4 second-round picks, I think they're going to turn Max Shulga into a two-way to save even more salary. So they basically only left having one player from this draft on their like official salary cap sheet for next year, while also while also picking three guys and trading for two futures. I think that's some magic over there by Brad.
I agree. I think I probably should have taken him over Lanier in terms of like I believe in Williams's NBA potential like more than Lanier, and it just feels like a very Celticsy move to get that, and for us to wonder if he is in the rotation a few years from now, to be like, dang, I can't believe that he fell that far and just landed in the Celtics' lap because they were shrewd with their trading and everything. My last pick. I'm gonna go with the Milwaukee Bucks for selecting my guy Bogoljub Markovic, superstar center from KK Mega Superbet over in the Adriatic League. It's the year of the playmaking bigs. Markovic is he's one of them ones when it comes to being the playmaker. Like, excuse me, I stumbled over my words. He is one of one when he's one of the better playmaking bigs in the draft of playmaking bigs. This dude has a legit handle at like 6'11", 7 feet. Really, really good passer. Played in a good league that's produced a ton of pro talent. Jump shot looks good to me as well. Uh, it's a dart throw. It always is at this late in the draft, but just would not surprise me at all if he turns into a really good player 7 years down the road, and we're left wondering like, man, how did we not see this coming? You know, a lot of the same skill set that uh, the best player, I will say, who has that same skill set in the league that he came from. And we might be wondering how he fell this far.
Completely agree. Actually, I'm gonna save my thoughts for the next segment when we do losers, but I do think he's better than I'm about to proclaim in the next segment.
Topic number two, let's do round two losers.
My first one is going to be the Milwaukee Bucks. I just teased it. The reason I say this has nothing to do with the pick. Can you say his name for me?
Bogoljub Markovic.
Him. It has nothing to do with him. I actually think he's pretty good. It has everything to do with the report that came out that Giannis was monitoring what the Bucks do in the draft and what the Bucks do in free agency. And respectfully, if that's the case, y'all lost. And there was no one y'all could pick at 47 that was going to change. Well, maybe Proctor. But like outside of Proctor, there was no one you could really pick at 47 that's going to change my mind. If Giannis is making his decision off a draft where you only have the 47th pick, brother, he gone, and there's no pick you can make at 47 that's going to make up for losing Giannis.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair critique to have. For me, this might not be popular. It's probably actually always popular to hate on the Hornets. I just think there were better moves you could have made at the top of the second round than Sion James and Ryan Kalkbrenner. Like if you're going for a wing, I would take a Duthiero there over James, who went a few picks later to the Lakers because of the athleticism, because of the youth, because of the upside. I would probably take Elijah Martin over Sion if you want someone. We mentioned this in the Sion reaction video, someone who helps the seriousness in the culture of your franchise. And I like Sion. I think Sion has a chance to play a long time in the NBA, and his role is very projectable. I just have concerns about some of the athleticism transferring over. Whereas I just think someone like Elijah Martin, even if he is that same connector piece who can handle, who's going to play really good defense, who's going to be a pest specifically at the point of attack, I think he's a little more versatile offensively, and I don't think many people would argue that. With Kalkbrenner, I'm trying to think if there, I guess like I don't hate that pick, but like, is there that much of a difference between Kalkbrenner and Vlad Golden who went undrafted? Like maybe take someone like a Jameer Watkins type, even Rayno. I would have taken Rayno over Ryan Kalkbrenner. I would have taken Kobe Bray over Kalkbrenner and just tried to get one of those bigs as an undrafted free agent.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm about to surprise some people with my next loser. I think it's the Warriors. They traded they traded out of 41 to get two second round picks to take two dudes. One of them I don't think is actually gonna play in the NBA next year, and Alex Tui. And then it's Will Richard. If you're gonna do that and you're only gonna leave with one player, then in my opinion, I think you just stick at 41 and you take the better player that's available, right? So
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Will Richard guy. From what I've been reading on Twitter, and granted, Riley and I have been recording this whole time, so I'll probably do a deeper dive into it later. But they kind of view him as the GP2 replacement. I think Gary Payton Jr. is coming back, by the way. So, like, I guess you're going to replace a guy that's going to be on the roster, which leads me to believe you're probably going to get a two-way too. So, like, I think they wound up leaving with no guys ultimately. So, I don't know. I wasn't really impressed with their draft, and I have no idea what like they're planning to do.
Yeah, yeah. I'll continue and say I will consider Memphis a loser. They had two second round picks. One of them was the 59th pick. They took Jemai Mashak, which maybe that was the best they could do because they made 10 other calls and they all said, no, my agent wants me to go and draft it so I can pick my location. Mashak to me is not an NBA player, definitely not a draft pick. Fun player, energy guy, great defender, heart and soul type guy for Tennessee this past year. Not really someone I think should stick on an NBA roster. Javon Small was someone I really soured on throughout the draft process despite his production. I think he thrived on a lot of tough shots that I don't think will go in at the next level, and he's a lot smaller than I thought he was. And there are some clips of him knocking down like 40 jumpers in a row in an open gym at a draft workout. There's no defender on him. I like the jump shot still needs a little bit of work. And like if you're looking to get back into contention with Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr. still as your cornerstones and the different moves you've made. I like one pick later with Tyrese Proctor. I think he's more ready to be to play a role on a winning team than Small is.
Yeah, I completely agree. I also think the that Proctor's going to be playing winning roles on teams for quite a while now. My last loser, and I'm not trying to be too harsh, but it's Philly. I like Janai Broom. I like what Broom brings to the table. Adu Thiero makes a ton of more sense at the NBA level, and for him to go the next pick is like I wouldn't have them as a loser if Adu went before Janai, but just because Adu went one pick after Janai, it's hard for me not to have the Sixers as a loser here.
Mhm. Yeah, my only pushback to that would be like a Duthiero might literally just be Ricky Council, and you already have that. But
He stinks though. Like
so you might get good Ricky Council. Let's say that.
yeah, I think you cut cut bait with Ricky Council and roll the dice with another Ricky Council and just hope it sticks different than the first one.
My last one, I'm gonna go with the Pacers because they drafted Talon Peter, a dude I've literally never heard of, and I've looked at. He played at Liberty. I saw Liv next to his name. I thought he was from Liberia. Um, he played a D2 Arkansas Tech before this last year at Liberty. What are we doing here? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't doubt him since they just got to the finals, but I feel like I've seen so many mock drafts and done so many of these scouting reports and picked y'all's brains and have never once heard anybody mention quote unquote What's his name? Talon Peter, to where I'm like, you got to be a loser for me for that one.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I also my only argument was gonna be like if he was from Liberia, like maybe he won't play this year,
Yeah.
and like maybe that was their only goal.
I'm about to do a deep dive on Liberian basketball after this to see if this was even in the realm of possibilities. Last topic, Dion. Let's talk our favorite undrafted free agents, those guys who are still available, or maybe they've signed a deal by the time that the listeners are hearing this. Probably a lot of them have. I'll kick it to you first.
So you want to do just like we did for the first two snake style, we both choose three guys type of thing?
Yep, that works for me.
All right, I'm gonna steal one, Vlad Golden.
Golden was my number one choice by far.
Yeah, I think Vlad Golden is as good as like pretty much any center besides Amari Williams that was picked in the second round, and he went undrafted. And I think it's just one of those situations where like not a lot of teams are trying to pick centers with his like prototype. But I mean, if you did pick a center, I'd rather just sign him on being undrafted.
Yeah, I agree with you. It makes sense to where like if you pass on a center with hopes that you could get him, I would have loved him to for the Lakers to get him with their need for bigs and just wanting LeBron and to get a center with someone who dunks so aggressively too to be a lob threat for Luca would have been really nice. But I'm a big believer in his frame, like especially when we're looking at some of the centers who were selected yesterday, like Yohan Berenger, who I also like. Really skinny dude. Even Malawach like has the height, has the standing reach, of course, that are otherworldly. I think still needs to probably refine his body a little bit. Vlad is already there from that aspect, and I think that's key. Like Michigan's defense kind of fell off a cliff when he wasn't on the court as well, to where I think there's probably a little bit like he's probably not quite the defensive liability or the defensive work in progress that the average like or the casual fan might think. For me, I'll go with Eric Dixon just because of the unique skill set. The good version of Eric Pascal. Shout out to your guy, Dion. 6'8" with a burner. Can handle, can come off of screens. I think good-ish defender in team concepts. There's at least something to work with there. Maybe he signed by the time we saw this, but I just think he averaged scored over 20 a game at his size with such a unique skill set. Wouldn't mind taking a flyer on him.
Yeah, I love that pick by you. I honestly wish I took him instead of Vlad. I'm gonna take Miles Kelly, six
Mm.
foot six wing that plays defense and can shoot a little bit. Obviously, if you're going undrafted, it feels far fetched. It's really gonna stick, but kind of has that prototypical like NBA game, I guess you could say, to where you could see it happening if you squint hard enough. So I think that's a good flyer for a Dallas Mavericks team that needs guards and needs wings.
I think that's a really good pick as well. Let's see. Next up for me. Hmm. I'm between two guys. I don't necessarily feel great about either. I'll go with Kadari Richmond.
Ooh.
I think the defense could at least catch some attention in summer league, and he's had flashes of taking over games before and can pretty much do everything on the court but shoot, which granted that might be why he never sticks in the NBA. But I think he's probably worth taking a flyer on and seeing what he can give you in summer league and maybe eventually earn a two-way or something like that.
Yeah, I like that pick too. I didn't think you were gonna say his name, but I really like that pick. I think my final pick is gonna be Caleb Love, just for vibes. Like if you're gonna sign undrafted guys, like I was very high on him in our pre-draft process. I think I was the highest on him in the channel. So it'd be crazy if I didn't take him. But at the same, a bucket, and he's a good vibe. Like fans are gonna love him. Like
Mhm.
he's gonna put fans in seats for the G League team. He's gonna have a moment at some point this season where he hits for like 30 some points too.
I think you're right. I think that's a really good pick. Somewhat adjacent to that, another long tenured guard in the college game who made a Final Four, Mark Sears. I I remember this time last year. I mean, this probably speaks more to last year's class and how weak it was. It seemed like Mark Sears was getting some late first round buzz and he came back to Alabama. You fast forward a year, he doesn't even hear his name called. With him, I've always admired and even thought this skill would translate with how easily he gets to the line at his size. He is undersized, but he's a warrior. He finishes through contact. He's not afraid to absorb contact, more importantly. And I mean, I still believe in the shot making, even if his percentages took a dip this year. Again, the height might ultimately limit his ceiling or limit how he could even get on the floor in a playoff game because it seems like one of my big takeaways from the playoffs this year was like it didn't matter if half these guards weren't any good as long as they were tall, they could get on the court. But I still like Mark Sears a lot. I think that there might be a spot in the league for him.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a tough road for him, but I think it's worth a shot. I think it's worth a shot.
One big thing, Dion, what do you got?
One big thing, reset. Long mentally draining week for the kid. We're going into the weekend, and you get to reset. I got to have a lot of fun on here with Riley the last 2 days, something I'm very appreciative for, and I appreciate Riley for sharing this space with me. But everybody has their up and down moments in life, and it was a tough week, but I was we're through it. A 3-day weekend, and I think it's important to like reset and kick back off on the next week on a clean slate.
Let's go. Love to hear that you're going to get to enjoy your 3-day weekend. I'm going to take out of your a page out of your book. My one big thing today is hydration.
Okay.
Hydration. Something important to remember. I am not naturally a water drinker. Some might even say I'm aquaphobic. Hydrophobic, I believe, is the correct medical terminology. No, a lot of times I just forget to drink water. And usually doesn't burn me. Sometimes it does. Sometimes when you're on the beach and it's really hot, and then you're staying up late to record draft videos and you feel like doo doo, it's like, oh, I probably should have drank that water. My wife, on the other hand, hydration queen, always has a water bottle, always making sure she's hydrated, always making sure our son is hydrated. So shout out to her. I'm in the minority in my family. I'm the only one who struggles to drink water, but hydration is important.
So I struggle to drink water too, but like I'm not in shape necessarily, so I don't think anyone's like too surprised by that. I'm blown away you struggle to drink water. Isn't it like part of like being like muscular?
Yeah, probably. I would say I'm good about drinking water when I have a water bottle with me at the gym. I'm just not the kind of guy who's like going to carry my water bottle around with me everywhere because I leave it places. I've tried that at different phases in my life. I used to have a hydro flask. I think I still have it somewhere. Left it in at least 15 different locations. Somehow always recovered it, but eventually I hung up the cleat, so to speak. I put that hydro flask on an upper shelf and hung it up for good because I knew I was just going to lose it.
So what do you drink to get like jacked? Because you're pretty jacked.
I don't know, man. I drink a lot of like seltzer, non-alcoholic seltzer.
Oh, so like
Not like
like
yesterday.
sparkling water.
Yeah, yeah, big sparkling water guy.
Oh, okay.
So
I just was like that blew my mind because I'm like I feel like the if you go to the gym or you're around like a gym bro, I don't want to like throw that off. I spent a weekend with JK. The kid had a water bottle everywhere he went. You know what I mean? Like you guys are both gym bros, so for you to say you weren't like a big water guy, that threw me for a loop a little bit.
yeah, yeah. Is JK the kind of guy who walks around with like an empty milk jug gallon of water?
No, he has like a water bottle, but JK does have this. JK has this like you have like your what do you call it, like pre-workout or like protein shakes or whatever.
Yeah, the
And
supplements.
most people have the shaker cups.
Uh-huh.
JK has an electric shaker cup. That's how lazy he is.
Kind of on brand though. I love it though. That's the show. Enjoy your weekend. We will see you back on Monday.